Hello, this is Zay. I am reviewing Only God Forgives. I'm sorry for that really weird opening. I just wanted to sort of do a reenactment of a scene in the film. So, Only God Forgives is directed by Nick Weinreben, who we know for directing Drive, Bronson, the Pusher trilogy, Van Halen Rising, many different films. He always does something different with every single film he has done. And this is starring Ryan Gosling again, who you know was in Drive, and he's also starring Kristen Scott Thomas as Ryan Gosling's character Julian's mother, and it also has in it. I'm going to pronounce his name completely wrong. I'm just going to have to look at it again. Just a Vinthaya Pasringham. I think it might be Vinthaya or it might be Vithya. I think Pasringham. He plays Chang. So the storyline of Only God Forgives is Julian's brother is killed, and Julian's mother now travels over to Bangkok, and she wants her son to go out and search for whoever killed her son, Billy. So Only for God Forgives has been getting very mixed reviews. Well, not many, very mixed. It's been getting very negative reviews from critics. Critics have really been hating it. So the sort of main, to go probably more into the storyline, Julian is just searching out for these people, but he can't sort of do something because there's also a higher up. There's a big Chang is sort of a big higher leader of the police, and he can sort of do whatever he wants. He is the god of this film, and I believe that Julian's mother, played by Kristen Scott Thomas, is just the devil of this film. She is just horrible. Some of the things she say are horrible. I'm not going to ruin anything. This is going to be a spoiler for review. Some of the things she say are absolutely horrible. She's amazing in this film. She's very threatening. You sort of fear her. But this film, I really wanted to like it. Now, I do like it. I did enjoy it. The soundtrack is excellent. This film looks beautiful. It has these weird red and sort of blue neon lights, like just lighting up all the scenes, and the cinematography just is incredible. But I think this film could have really done with a lot more dialogue. Now, there's just scenes where people just do this. Just stare at each other for ages, just stare at each other for ages. There's an awkward silence. There's one scene where Ryan Gosling or Julian is being questioned for something, and it's like it doesn't feel very real life of what's happening. He's being questioned about the murder of his brother and stuff, and like something that's happened, and he does this. When? He actually just says when, like just randomly looks about, really quiet for ages, and just says when. So this film has a plot. Like Van Halen Rising, I think was another film of Nicolas Winding film that didn't have a plot. But I like Nicolas Winding. He always likes to give his audience a different experience every time they see a film. This isn't the same experience as Drive. It's not the same experience as Bronson. All of those films have always had different experiences, and I respect Nicolas Winding for that because he can always give his audience a different experience. And it's like it's always nice to go into a film and you're not having the same thing over and over again. You get all directors that are just making action films over and over again, but he's doing something different. He's just doing like something different with every single one of his films. Now, the first time I heard about this film, I've been following this film like ever since it was first announced. At first, it was meant to be about just Thai fighting in Bangkok. It was meant to be about Ryan Wilson going out there and fighting. And that's all I ever knew about it. And at first, the character was meant to be Ryan Gosling as a cop as well, and like it was just fighting and stuff, and it was just meant to be that. And then all of a sudden, this news story came out about like a revenge story, and I just was like, all right, this is a bit different. And when I saw the trailer, I got excited when I first saw the trailer. But now after seeing the film, I feel like I need to give this film a second viewing. I think if I went and give it a second viewing, I could take in more. Like this film really just, the flaw of it, the massive flaw of it is the dialogue, how it didn't have as much dialogue as it should have done. I think if it had more dialogue, things would have worked out more. And like Nick Swan referenced it with this, he just doesn't feel like, when he writes scripts, he doesn't feel like his characters need to have much dialogue, and he doesn't like to write much dialogue. And I feel like it really could have done a whole lot better with more dialogue, and I feel like more people would respect this film if it just was a bit more explained and crafted a bit better with its dialogue. The first half of the film is very slow, and then you get this like second half of the film where there's one part of it that gets really like fast paced and everything. There's like chase thing that happens and everything, and then it just sort of goes a bit downhill again. This film, in ways, is pretty much all over the place, but it's still it's still a film I enjoyed. Like, I really don't want to hate on this film because I did enjoy this. Like, I thought when I first saw this film, I thought like it was going to be a film I was going to love, but I don't love it. It's just like I enjoyed it. I don't think it's amazing. It's a very trashy film, in my opinion. Like, it's a trashy, just crazy little film. There's a very violent film, and there's scenes of this that just it's like sort of not needed violence. Like, there's violence in this. Well, there's violence in Drive, and I think that was sort of more explained. But there's unnecessary violence in this film. Like, there's just scenes where you're just like, what's the point? Why are they doing this in this film? There's one scene where the guy sat in front of me had his hands actually over his face. He was covering it. There's a lot of people that I think that were in my theatre thought they were just going to see this because it's a Ryan Gosling film. They thought, yeah, Ryan Gosling, sweetheart, he's so hot. I love him so much, Ryan Gosling. But this film is incredibly violent. There's one scene that I just wasn't expecting when it appeared on the screen. I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. I wasn't like disturbed by the violence. It's a shocking violence, but I don't get disturbed by much after seeing so many different films. Disturbing parts of this film are people that haven't really seen many disturbing films. So I think a lot of audience members were disturbed by this. So this film that has unnecessary violence could have done a whole lot better with a lot more dialogue, and I think people would have liked it a whole lot more if a lot more was explained with the script. I think the script could have been written a whole lot more better, and there could have been a lot more dialogue. And looks incredible, this film. The cinematography is beautiful. Ryan Gosling is good in this film, but he's not the star in this film. I'm going to say that Kristen Scott Thomas is the star of this film. She just steals the whole thing with some of the things she said. There's one scene that I don't think it was meant to be incredibly funny, but a lot of the audience members were laughing. Like, I thought the scene was funny. I thought it was well done. It was funny. And like the soundtrack there's some of the soundtrack is overpowering at points, but I still like it. I still think it works. It's pounding. It's from Cliff Manto again. I think I said his name completely wrong, but you know who did Drive. So his soundtrack is good. There's parts that do sound like some of the soundtrack from Drive, but you know that's just to expect. So I did enjoy it. Only God Forgives, but I'm gonna have to give it only a 6 out of 10 because I know it's very low for me. It's a 6.5 out of 10 for me. It's very low for me. I just really did want to enjoy this, but I think I'm going to go and give it a second viewing again soon. This is my longest review in a while. I just sort of wanted to explain things about this film. So maybe I'll give it a second view, talk about it in another video or something. But I still say go and see Only God Forgives in the theatre because it's an experience you need with that soundtrack just pounding and everything through the speakers and how there's like this very slow scenes with like footsteps and everything. But yeah, Only God Forgives 6 out of 10 from me. I like there's more things I want to explain, but I don't want to spoil too much about this film. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and I shall see you all again very, very soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And if you're going to see Only God Forgives, send in the comments down below if you're excited to see it, or if you've already seen it, did you enjoy it, and like have you got the same problems about it as me? Thank you very much. Goodbye.